/askreddit. What was the worst gift you received for Christmas? My grandmother was a piece of work. One year myself and my 2 cousins were at our house for Christmas morning. All the family was there and there was a big, gorgeous pile of presents wrapped in the corner. We, me and my cousins, were promptly told that those gifts were for the other grandchildren. When we gave our grandmother the blank stare of confused children, she hurried back into the room, threw an old Ziploc bag down at the ground between us, full of half-used nail polish and broken jewelry, and told us Merry Christmas. XGF gave me a book on the history of gunpowder. I admit I enjoyed it as it was an interesting read. Problem was, I had already read it 2 months prior, because she had already given me a copy as my birthday gift. It was the first Christmas my father and current stepmother had together. My step-siblings each got a new laptop computer. I got a $20 gift card to McDonald's. Edit 2. I guess I should provide a bit more detail on the situation. I like my current stepmother way more than I like my dad. Earlier that year, my previous stepmom, Dad's wife number 3, my mother was number 2, screwed my dad over royally and put him tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and he wanted to impress her by gifting nice shit to her kids. He didn't have enough money to treat us all to nice electronics. I have 2 sisters, so we 3 were just an afterthought. Young me thought it was bullshit, and more resentment towards him was added to the pile. But as I got older, I can kind of see what he was trying to do. It was just really bad execution on his part. I know your pain of the evil stepmother. Very similar punch in the gut of dirt cheap gifts. Stepbrothers got a huge stereo system and brand new dirt bike. I got a $5 coloring book. Stepmother died of cancer about 5 years after they got divorced. I never felt a shred of sadness, and honestly happy she's not on this planet anymore. Karma's a bitch. When I was in 3rd grade, I was in class doing school work with a mechanical pencil and a piece of lead broke off and got stuck in my eye. I ended up having to go to the doctor's office because it wouldn't come out. It wasn't even the ER, but just a regular walk-in clinic. I don't remember it being a big deal, but all I remember is my stepmother approaching my mom and me after the fact and screaming. I spent all day in my office trying to recreate what happened. There's no way that could have happened. He's faking it for attention or did it on purpose. She was crazy. I don't miss her. Growing up, my mom was either amazing at holidays, birthdays, etc., or scary. One year, when I was about 13, she was particularly scary. We didn't have a tree, no decorations were up, nothing. We were all too afraid to say anything, in case one of us set her off, until my dad got pissed at her, went and bought a tree and told us to decorate it however we wanted. He helped us with the lights and star, while my mom sulked in her room. Christmas Eve came and under the tree were these large bulky-looking presents. We were all excited to open them, because we got one present to open Christmas Eve and we knew there was no way those were pajamas. We all opened them excited to find huge lumps of coal. My youngest siblings began to cry. My dad sent all of us downstairs to watch Christmas movies on TV, and locked himself and my mum in their bedroom. It was muffled, but that is honestly the only time I remember my dad ever screaming at my mother. Afterward he came downstairs and calmed my younger siblings down, reassured them that they had been good and Santa would still come. After the kids had gone to bed, my dad called me upstairs and asked me to help him wrap all the presents, except mine. The next morning my mum was up early, made us cinnamon rolls, hers are the best I've ever had, and acted as if nothing had happened. I don't know exactly what my dad said, but she was never that bad again, even though there were a few times she came close. Years later, she finally agreed to see someone about it, and they diagnosed her as manic depressive. The doctor said that stress had triggered her, and honestly that had been a stressful year for our family. Since she was treated, she's been the most amazing mother and grandmother ever, and it makes me sad she didn't get help sooner. We would have had the most amazing childhoods, and luckily my nephews and nieces got to have this version of my mum, instead of what we had. A set of salt and pepper shakers. The gifts were donated to us and I don't know how they forgot my parents had 4 kids. Oh God, flashbacks to the donated gift program. I grew up in group homes and that's usually how we got Christmas gifts. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful here, I'm really not, but some people never freaking read the descriptions. Some highlights: over the years, I asked for some clothing and gave my shirt and pants size. They gave me them in toddler sizes. I was a teenager at the time. People don't realize that teenagers can be in group homes too, I guess. Or that I was the one who wrote the note and not the parents. A crochet kit that was already used. It was missing the hook. One time someone tried to be really nice and fulfilled the expensive gift on my wish list. A specific video game I wanted. They got the Xbox 360 version when the house had a Wii. For the record, I did specify which one we had. Someone meant well but wasn't very knowledgeable. A weird porcelain doll. Let's ignore the fact I'm about as tomboy as they come. Those are banned where I stayed due to being easily breakable. That was the only gift I got that year and it had to be taken away immediately. I am going to answer for my sister. When I was about 5, making her 9, our uncle/aunt/cousin family asked me what my sister liked. I had no idea. All I knew was she liked to yell at me. So I dumbly replied she liked hair ties. For Christmas that year my sister received an assortment of an insanely high number, like 200 different high ties, scrunches, ect. She didn't let me live that down for a long time. LOL, what is it about family discovering one detail about a kid and making out like it's their biggest passion? I used to have an ornithologist come to speak with our class once a fortnight because our primary school teacher was really into birds. So I learned a lot about birds. Except, I wasn't really into birds, but my parents told everybody how cute it is that I know so much about birds. For the next couple of birthdays and Christmases, all I got was bird books. So many books about birds. It's been 20 years and I still absolutely hate birds. Every year, my grandma would send me clothing for a 6-year-old. Seems like the concept of my brother and I actually growing escaped her. After a few years of this, my mom got tired of her wasting her money on this and told her to just send my mom the money and she would buy the gift, just send a card. I got an empty box of a toy I really wanted. I was 9. I was 16. I was doing my art GCSE and I kept taking the scissors from the kitchen because it involved a lot of cutting and sticking. My mum got super paranoid with me. I have 2 older brothers. One had recently moved into UNI, so he got some sheets with a world map in it, something he was very interested in at the time, and an expensive rucksacks for his UNI work. The other brother had just recently landed a new job, so he got some posh shoes and some merino wool jumpers. In total, their presents probably cost about £100, £200 each, and all of them were beautifully wrapped. Me? I got handed a plastic bag. Inside was a pair of £3 scissors. I received nothing else that Christmas. My mom rarely cared what gift we might actually want or what our personal tastes were, and most often she would select a gift based on her own personal tastes. In the late 80s, she decided to buy me a stereo as the main, large gift for whatever reason, and she selected a Fisher-Price, the children's toy brand, turntable, record player. This is after CD players were invented and of course nobody played records anymore. The worst part was that she decided to treat this stereo as some sophisticated equipment that was too good for a child to play with, so after Christmas she stored it, in its original box, in our attic where it has remained until this day. It was supposed to just be stored there until some arbitrary time, but my mom is a huge procrastinator and that time never came. I'm still salty that she wasted all the money on that stupid gift rather than on something I might have enjoyed and actually got to use. toothpaste. Apparently, it wasn't even that my breath stank, we were just out of toothpaste. When I was 15, I really wanted a dog. My mom knew this. Cue Christmas morning. After we had opened any other presents, my mom came back with one last one. It was a wrapped box with holes in the sides, bouncing, moving some, and puppy barks of cuteness. I got so excited to open it and meet my new best friend. When I opened it, it had a stuffed animal puppy, not taxidermized, a bumble ball toy, and a small tape recorder with puppy barks. My heart sank and I just sat there and cried. Hey, I had something like this happen to me in my 20s. We have a bit of a history in my family of being cute about gifts and wrapping up an accessory or something to be kind of confusing about a bigger gift to enhance the surprise when you figure it out. This is not something that has ever happened, but think like giving a car washing kit when you know their spouse got them a new car. Or for an actual example, a skateboard, truck wrench when my brother really wanted a longboard, which was waiting to go for a ride in the garage. My family is large, and so instead of getting something for everyone we throw names in a hat and then just buy for that single person, the idea being that you actually get what you want, need, within a spending limit we set each year, instead of a bunch of mostly useless cute stuff. So I am in my late 20s, my serious girlfriend and I have moved in and have talked about getting a dog. I have always wanted a dog, loved my family members' dogs to death, but my stepfather was allergic and we couldn't, etc. So this is like a lifelong dream for me. I open my gift, and inside is just a big dog bone. I look at it for a second, inspect it, make sure it isn't fake or something, and see the rest of the box is entirely empty, and as I come to the realization of what's going on, my face just lights up like I am looking into heaven itself, and an ear-to-ear smile breaks out on my face so hard it hurts. They got me a dog. I jump up and say, oh my God, thank you all so much. Where is my new best friend? I am practically floating. Except that year my gift giver was my cousin, who even in the best of times is poor as shit. She had some setback, and either lost her job, or smacked up her car, yet again, and was just doing some seasonal work and didn't have money to get me anything, so I got the bone. My aunt starts to explain this to me, but just seeing the look on my family's face as they realize just how bad this situation is kind of told me everything I needed to know. I think I stammered a bit and muttered something like, but why dog bone? As reality set in and my elation turns into tremendous disappointment, and I remember just losing my grip on the bone as it slid out of my hands back into the box on the floor, and 1,000-yard stare came over me. I was really just too stunned by it all to be angry in the moment, and I don't believe my cousin had any intention of stabbing in me the heart like that, but it was just really fed up, and I will never forget that. For a happier ending, my girlfriend the following fall got me a puppy for my birthday, and she is now my wife. That puppy, who is almost 10, is sleeping right next to me as I work and write this in her bed, and we are the bestest friends, and having a dog is every bit as wonderful as I thought it would be. My divorced parents pooled their money to buy me a Game Boy Color. The problem was they'd already got me a Game Boy Color, but I guess they didn't understand that it was the same one and thought it was new. They both looked so excited as I opened it I didn't have the heart to tell them. So I just kept playing my one game on my new Game Boy Color. A couple years ago my dad registered me to see a few of my favorite shows taped in NYC. I got super excited about it, but then realized that he wouldn't be paying for anything and expected me to stay with my narcissistic grandma in New Jersey, who I avoid as much as possible. Then I found out that not only were the tickets to see the tapings free, but he had already told my grandma I'd be staying with her, and she had all sorts of yard work and stuff ready for me to do for her once I arrived. Obviously, I didn't go, and my dad is still bitter that I didn't appreciate his gift.